I guess I'll just start with the bad news. I have COVID and I'm going to a trade show next week. It is supposed to be like the biggest trade show in the country. It's the first time that we're going. It's literally costing like $12,000 to go. And yeah, I'm sick. So I think hopefully I should be able to make it because I am isolating for 5 days and then I will just mask while I'm at the show. But it definitely has put a wrench in my plans as far as trying to prepare for this thing. But I'm gonna take you along today as I get prepared for it. I have about 5 days until the show now, or until I leave for the show. And I have a lot to do because I've been really sick the past few days and haven't been able to get as much done. So my top priority is putting together the mission briefing for my whole team so we all have the same plan and everything ready to go. I'm gonna put together our schedule, assign the cars, put together packing lists of everything that we need to bring for the booth. Then I have the Airbnb information, all of our meals, our grocery list, parking, and then our plan for loading and setup, our display layout. I'm gonna draw out how to do order taking, talking points with retailers. I'm sure that's gonna go on for a while. And yeah, we'll see what goes after that, but this is what I'm working on so far. I'm bringing 5 people from my team, so there's 6 of us going all together. So we're renting a minivan, and then Jordan is gonna drive her car, which is an SUV as well. So we're gonna put all the seats down in the minivan and we're gonna load up all of our stuff. I'm getting furniture to bring to the booth instead of like paying for a custom setup or something like that, just because that way we have more control over how many shelves there are and planning ahead and things like that. And it saves a lot of money because like custom booth displays are expensive. But I'm gonna show you guys just like a little bit of behind the scenes of exactly all of the little costs that go into just our booth without anything in it. This is the portal that I have for the show where I can pay for renting furniture, get complimentary furniture, pay for flooring, and then renting walls and labor and shipping and handling. So I have to definitely rent the walls and the shipping and the labor. So I'll have 5 people with me. There'll be 6 of us total. We don't really like need someone else to help us, but there's some things that people who work for the show can only do. So if we want to use like a cart of any kind to wheel our stuff from the trunk of our car to the booth, which we will because we're gonna have like hundreds of pounds of furniture and product, we have to go through the show for that. So we have to pay for unloading, and that's about $60 on the Tuesday before the show starts. The show is Wednesday to Sunday. And then we have to pay for that on the back end for moving out as well. And then I have to rent labor because my booth it's a corner and it has some exposed sides, like where the walls don't touch anything else. And so to finish off those sides, so it's not just like a chunk of wood, I have to have someone come and finish those and then also tape the seams between the panels that the walls are made of. And then I have to rent the walls themselves. So your booth comes with like PVC pipe that has drapery on it, and that's standard, but we got put in the pretty gift aisle, so we have to have flooring and walls. Like our booth has to be like done up and looking really nice to be in that area. So I have to rent walls, which doesn't it sound silly? I have to rent walls, okay. And so they're made of wood, and they're made of like wood panels that are like 2 to 3 feet wide, and then where they touch each other, there's a big seam, so someone's gonna come and like tape that up so it's not as like glaringly obvious and distracting in the booth. So that'll make it look a little nicer. So that is like labor that we have to do as well. The walls cost $600. Which is a lot to me personally. Another little wrench. I ordered 2 of these shelves from IKEA about a month ago, and they were supposed to get delivered a couple of days ago, and they got canceled last minute. I was getting 1 of them delivered, and I needed 2 for the booth setup, so I canceled the whole order, and thankfully I was just able to cancel it. So I spent all of yesterday scrambling. Like literally I was sick, laying in bed, could not sleep, and I was just stressed. So I was just shopping for shelves, and I couldn't find anything that could get delivered in time, wasn't outrageously expensive, and like would fit in our booth in a way that would make sense. So I spent like 4 hours on that. It was kind of exhausting, but anyway, I ended up going with some shelves on Wayfair that could get 1-day shipping. So hopefully those are good. They were like suspiciously cheap, but like they worked. It wasn't just that like they were inexpensive. I'd be willing to pay more, but anyway, I'm just like worried. They're like $50 per shelf. We'll see if they hold up, but those shelves need to be drilled into the wall. And the problem with that is I rented walls, but I rented the basic wood walls and not the heavy wood walls. And the heavy wood walls you can drill into and drill shelves into. Basic you can't because they're too flimsy. And guess how much it is to rent the heavy wood walls? It is another $600. So $1,200 total for the heavy ones. So I'm gonna have to do that because I literally cannot get another shelf that'll even just like work in the booth in time. We will see. This is the fun of last minute trade show stuff. I have to get carpet or floor coverings of some kind for the booth, but these were all really expensive. They were like $500 each for my 10 by 10 booth. So instead of paying for a like rental like flooring from the trade show company, we're allowed to bring our own floor covering of some sort. We just can't leave the floor bare, I guess. So I decided to buy interlocking foam tiles that have like kind of a wood grain print to them. They're not like the most gorgeous looking, but if you're just glancing at it, it looks fine. And I wanted the foam tiles rather than like actual vinyl that we'd rent from the company, because every time we've been at a show, my feet and knees just get so tired, and I thought it would be nice to have that extra cushion from the foam tiles in there, plus we can reuse them. So these were about $200 for like the 10 by 10 space that we have. I think the ones I got are a slightly different color, to be honest. We haven't taken them out of the box yet, and I think I'm just gonna take the risk and just bring them boxed up the way they are to the show, because I don't really know what it's going to do for us to like open them up now, unless we want to try and put them all together, but we'll see. So back to shelving. This is the shelving unit that I got, and I got 4 of them to stack all right next to each other. The big thing was the dimensions for me, and the fact that there were 5 shelves and the first one was pretty far off the ground, because if the first one's really low, it's not really good for display, but this one should be good to just put product on instead of having to fill in some space. And yeah, it was like $50 per shelf, which felt kind of like too cheap. So I'm really hoping they work out, but we have shelves just like this in Mill and Meadow, and I really like the way they look. So crossing my fingers. And so the team has a blueprint of how I want the booth to look. I am going to draw out a 2-scale drawing of like the shelves on the walls and the table that we're gonna have. I'm getting a table from the trade show company. It's part of like the complimentary furnishings. So we're getting a free table set up for us, so we don't have to drag one out, but it's just like a 6-foot folding table, and then we're gonna put a tablecloth on it. Actually, I'll show you the tablecloth real quick. So we used this tablecloth, we got it for San Francisco, the trade show there, SF Now, and then I used it for a few pop-up markets, but here she is. This is gonna go on the front table that we have in the booth. It's at my house right now because I need to wash it because it got absolutely filthy at SF Now because we were just stepping on it and other people were stepping on it and stuff. Wash machine is washing. So something I really want to make sure I have is parking already reserved ahead of the show, because I really don't want to be scrambling trying to find parking like the day of, and it's supposed to be a really busy show, and I really don't want to like not find a space or like be late because of that. So I'm gonna go ahead and reserve us a parking garage for the cars for every day that we're gonna be there. All of our parking passes are at the end of the document here. And I've also added our schedule of everything that we need to do and dinner and things like that. And then I also added the weather report for next week. I'm normally kind of like a type B person, but I'm trying to be very thorough with this document. So hopefully like there's no miscommunications. It's just hard when there's like 6 people. I want everyone to be on the same page. And it's hard to remember everything. And this is a long and complicated show. So hopefully I can just like download my whole brain, have everything pre-planned, put it in a document, and that everybody has it. This might be a little extra, but I'm like assigning people to cars, but also assigning their luggage to cars. So everybody's suitcase has an assigned car. This thing is taking it out of me, man. I finished up the packing list for our display stuff and all of our products. I also finished our car assignments and the grocery list. So the next thing I'm working on is drawing the booth display and making sure it's all kind of to scale. And so I have a few measurements to go off of when we get to the booth. The display is drawn up and mapped out. So I worked on the mission briefing for hours and hours and hours, but I got all of our reservations for dinner, for parking. We have our Airbnb, we have our rental car, have a grocery list, our whole unloading plan, all of our furniture and booth stuff is rented and ready. I have the display layout done, and then I wrote out like kind of a cheat sheet for order taking and just some like product talking points. And then Lauren made a whole social media plan for YouTube videos. We're gonna try and make like 4 more about the market so we can share with you the whole journey. So I think that's gonna be really great, and I'm glad it's all here in one spot. So I have a couple of people at the office who are working on the packing list I sent over. I got the whole mission briefing done, and I'm feeling pretty good about where we're at as far as getting ready to go to the show. Jordan is working on the catalog, which is a huge project. And Kat is working on all of our listings being ready on Fair, which is our wholesale platform, and that's how we'll take orders, which is very important. So they're handling all of that stuff. But otherwise, I feel like we're in really good shape for having still like 3 days before we leave. I'm feeling like it's coming together. The shelf thing was a bit of a setback, but feeling like we conquered that. And getting sick was not ideal either, but hopefully it's all gonna work out.